Welcome to the dojo, everyone. This is the R.G.T here, and today we are going to be featuring how to use the Koraidon. Koraidon is a Pokemon that I have even said back in the same video when we did the full breakdown that this Pokemon is absolutely amazing. I actually love the design. It is very similar to that of Groudon, and the fact that it just brings on the sun really vibes with me. So Koraidon is definitely a Pokemon that I thought was going to be doing super well, but it was just very difficult for it to run because of course you got these other Pokemon that can summon the different weathers, and then it doesn't have its power. But with its design and everything, I was like, I gotta make this thing work. And I was already planning on working with like a Life Orb set or something like that. But then, of course, if any of you don't already know, Wolf Glick went ahead and took this Pokemon up to the top in the EUIC, so the International Championship. He ran the Koraidon with a Life Orb and was able to dominate the entire tournament. So congratulations to Wolf. Of course, he is one of the GOATs, so he was able to win that tournament there and utilizing it along with the Perish Trap. So one thing that's actually going to be really good about Koraidon in a sense is that the team fluctuations can vary. You can put it on a variety of different sets. It's just how you're going to either maintain the weather, if that is something that you're focusing on, if you're going for that type of damage, or how are you going to be able to maintain that speed control, because that is the one thing that I have found to be the most difficult thing for a Koraidon, is for it to maintain that speed control. Now with its speed tier, it is the same thing as a Chien-Pao, a Fluttermane, and it's also for its counterpart Miraidon. And one big challenge for it is, for example, going up against a Fluttermane. Your Sunlight is going to activate the Fluttermane's photosynthesis ability. When you do that, it can then one-shot you unless you terastallize. So therefore, Koraidon is technically a terrestrial hog because it's always going to be using your terastallization because it can easily get picked off. I even forgot this thing was actually a dragon fighting type because in practice I was going up against like a Chien-Pao and I just let it sit there and I was like, okay, I'm fine, I'm gonna attack it on this next turn. And then it one-shot me with the Ice Spinner. I was like, wait, it's super effective? I was like, oh god, yes it is, because I'm so used to the fact that it always has to terastallize, and then when I didn't terastallize it, it just like completely left my brain. So keep that in mind when you are utilizing this Pokemon. Also, if you have not been on my page back on Raikazi11 on YouTube, you may want to go over there and check out the video that I posted that is focusing on all the regular Pokemon that you can use that is going to be able to counter that of a restricted legendary Pokemon. And for the Koraidon, for example, the counters for it is simply as Pelipper, because it summons the rain, and it also is a water type if you are terastallizing into a fire type, and it also is a flying type. So if you stay as your dragon fighting, then its Hurricane will still take you out. There's also the Chandelure with its ability of Flash Fire, and with its typing of Fire Ghost, your attacks will go straight through it, and you won't be able to harm that Pokemon with the typical sets that are utilized on the Koraidon. In addition to that, there's also like Several Edge, that is also another counter. And the biggest reason why I want you all to be able to keep those Pokemon in mind, and also in the forms of your team building, you want to understand those main counters that can destroy your top Pokemon, so you can have an answer to those answers. So it's a counter to their counter. Once you have that established, then you continue to build your team so you can make sure your team can be successful. Now, in going in terms of the teams of the Koraidons, the typical sets that are going to be used, and of course I'm going to do something a little bit different on my team, but we'll see how this one will go. The typical set is going to be that of the Flareblitz. We also will have the Collision Course, or even as Wolf did, he did actually the Close Combat, so that is also another thing that you can do, because with this you have a base 120 power, so you actually have more damage versus that of the Collision Course, which only does 1.3 if it's super effective. So you have to be super effective in order for you to basically be doing technically 130 damage, when in fact you always have a 120 damage at the sacrifice of your defenses. So just depends on how you want to run it there. Then if you don't want to do that, you can stick with the other move there where you have the Flame Charge. That is going to be for some speed control. Depending on your team, that's how you're going to actually try to maintain that speed control, depending on your opponent. And then of course we're going to run the Protect, and that is going to be helping you to pivot around your team so you can maintain your control of the board state, and sometimes you may even need to switch out the Koraidon to reset the sun, depending on what your opponent is actually running. Another set that is available is in fact the Loaded Dice set that runs the Scale Shot. Now Scale Shot is going to be another way of getting that speed control. So like I said, Koraidon is a Pokemon that you need to make sure that you're going to obtain that speed control, but with there being a a lot of these Icy Wind Pokemon, as well as the Tailwind Pokemon, and even the Trick Room mons, that makes capitalizing on speed control a very big challenge for Koraidon. So you're going to need to know how to protect it as well. That's going to be the biggest thing. So protect the king, allow it to get set up so then it can do the damage. So another thing about this scale shot on this Pokemon, which probably led Wolfblade to even doing his close combat, is the fact is running the scale shot in some cases has led people to saying, oh, I'm dropping my defense anyway and I'm gaining speed. So if you decided to go with the flame charge plus the close combat, you kind of the same thing, but with the terrestrialization into the fire, you can do more damage. But the scale shot having the option for the multiple hits, I mean, it just varies on how you want to go with that. Aside from that, there's just going to be how you want to tug around on your movesets, but the typical terrestrialization is usually going to be that of the fire type. We're going to be focusing on a life orb set. Ric Flair McNair is going to be focusing on the typical set, which is going to be a clear amulet. I'm going to be looking at a life orb set. Now, in choosing how to do your stat breakdown, a lot of people can go with the Jolly Nature, and like I said, if you went with a 252 there, you're going to be basically meeting up with the Shanpao, the Fluttermanes, but the thing is, though, if you're meeting up with the Fluttermane and you're setting up the Sunlight, then technically, automatically, the Fluttermane is going to be faster than you. And then also, if you are running Life Orb and that Fluttermane hits you with Icy Wind, then you are no longer going to be at 205. So make sure that you are keeping that in mind and when you're facing off against opposing Fluttermanes. My suggestion is just to make sure that you are always going to be faster than an Ogerpon, because Ogerpon is going to be that 350 base speed at level 100. I keep forgetting what number that is. I think is at what, 115 or something like that. But under that base speed, if you are going to be able to outspeed it just simply by being at about 180. So with 68 points invested in a Jolly Nature, you can outspeed that of an Ogerpon. Or you can actually want to go for more attack investment. Don't forget, you still want to make sure that you're going to outspeed that of an Ogerpon just as a base. Therefore, you'll need to make sure that you are in fact going to go at 196 points investment just so you can outspeed that of an Ogerpon. But once again, if you go 252 here, you can go up to 205 there. So it just depends on how you want to do your stat breakdown, and you just need to know your speed tier so you can outspeed some of the base Pokemon, especially if you're in an open team sheet environment and you are outspeeding certain Pokemon. Your opponent will automatically start to assume that you have certain numbers of investment, but if you then keep parts of that hidden, then you'll be able to basically surprise them. Because let's say, for example, you are not having enough points to outspeed that of an Ogerpon, then your opponent will say, okay, now all of my Pokemon that are on such a speed tier, I will be able to outspeed you. However, if you are outspeeding the Ogerpon, then they are going to assume maybe you may have more speed investment than what you actually do. So then they're like, oh, so therefore he may not have as much defenses, so I'm going to be able to knock it out with this move. But then they use that move and then you survive. And they're like, how did you survive? And you're like, oh, no, I don't have that much speed. And at the end of the match, you'll say, aren't you like, 252 in that speed tier or something? And you're like, nope, I'm 196. But therefore you can do some things that are expected, but at the same time, some things that are not. That's how you go a step above, so you can be able to capitalize against your opponents there. So what we're about to do is Ric Flair is going to show you his version of the Clear Amulet Koraidon, and then after that, we're going to be looking at a team that I have developed for the Life Orb set. Before we go any further, I want to say thank you so very much for joining us here at Card Shark Dojo. Be sure that you are leaving a like, sharing, and subscribing, as it's going to greatly help us out as we are trying to grow this channel. And also make sure you have those notifications turned on so you don't miss when the next video goes live. Also, sometimes I know you all just want to sit back and not take things so seriously. So with that in mind, head on over to the R.G.T Twitch and YouTube page. There, we do various forms of content, including my very special Pokemon Roulette VGC series, other video games, skits, reactions, as well as reviews. So if you want to see some fun videos, learn about some new anime, play some other types of games, or anything of that sort, be sure to head on to those pages and subscribe for the fun. Links to those various channels are in the description box below. I hope to see y'all there. But for now, back to the video.
Alright, so been a minute, but this time we are working on Koraidon. And let me tell you, I used to think Koraidon was lower B tier. Not anymore. I mean, outside of the fact that Wolfie won EUIC with it, Koraidon just feels well positioned. And in my opinion, if you're running Koraidon, these three are the first three you have to put on your team. Koraidon, Raging Bolt, Flutter Mane, those three together just feel so good. The ability to set up the sun, life orb, or clear amulet is fine for me. But I think the only real weakness of Koraidon is that you can't really change its moveset. I mean, it is what it is. These are the four best moves it gets access to. Raging Bolt, I mean, there's not much to say. You know how to do Assault Vest, Raging Bolt. Booster, Flutter. You can run Taunt, Trick Room. You can run T-Wave. But this is just such a good support mod with also a little bit of speed control. Now, for the ones that I played, I decided to lean hard into the sun. So my next Pokemon, instead of Amoonguss or Rillaboom, I went for a Venusaur. Chlorophyll, I'm outspeeding most things. There's lots of times where if you land turn 1 Sleep Powder, Terra Ghost, it can't be faked out. It just ruins your opponent's game plan off the rip. I like Choice Scarf, Chi-Yu. I mean, it pairs well with the Raging Bolt, with the Flutter Mane. Even Sludge Bomb starts dealing a lot of damage with his Beads of Ruin. But mainly it's here because I have fallen in love with this Walking Wake. Hydro Steam, Weather Ball, Walking Wake just deals so much damage to a lot of things in the meta. Terra Stellar to put on a little extra damage, Beads of Ruin, and you're chunking most things out there. Plus, with Photosynthesis with our sun, we also are a very, very speedy mod. So I'm going to go in. I recorded 10 this morning, but as you can see, most of them are like a bunch of mirrors. Koraidon has jumped up in popularity after EUIC, rightfully so. So I'll just go through and kind of pick a few of them. We'll start with, so this is Wolfie's team, but you'll see that this person, after losing the turn 1 play, just forfeited. And so, I mean, it's not even a lot to say here. They were trying to set up. I figured I could lead the Walking Wake to get his son and just pop something off the rip. I was going for a Weather Ball to kill this if he Terra fired it, but he just switched to Gothitelle and he lost his Perish Trap turn 1 because Hydro Steam in Sun just chunks. So I'm not even going to talk too much about this one. He just forfeited right afterwards. So, and wait for it. There's the forfeit. So, I mean, it is what it is. I can tell you through playtesting, both the games that I recorded and the games that I didn't record, Cali Ice is our biggest problem. And Hard Trick Room in general is our biggest problem. If this person on turn 1 had found a way to set up Trick Room instead of Tailwind, I think he would have beaten me. But because he tried to go for the Tailwind play and Cali Ice in Tailwind still is not faster than my Chi-Yu Choice Scarf, I was just fine. He thought going Terrifier to avoid being burned and resist my fire damage would be worth it. But I mean, I'm still chunking him. High horsepower, cool, you killed the Chi-Yu, but look at your stats over there. Bring out Walking Wake. You can protect, doesn't matter. You set up the rain, flame charge still kills because you're at 1. I get +1 speed, and all you've done now is made my Hydro Steams and Weather Balls more effective. This turn is the turn I was waiting for him to Trick Room, because if he had Tricked Room here, I think he would have got me, but I didn't have a way. That was after I clicked Double Protect. Luckily, I did Double Protect, and he didn't Trick Room, so I just went off a Collision Course and Weather Ball. Like, I think more Pokemon should be running Weather Ball. I think it's really good. I don't know if you can see on this tide, but he started to try to timer stall me to see if I'd quit. It's Showdown Ladder. Why would I do that? I could just open up another tab. Ooh. But yeah, Weather Ball, abuse it. It's really good. Here's a good one as well for the, like, the same 3. You see Koraidon, Raging Bolt, Flutter Mane, like that. Those 3 together are so good. I'd really recommend that if you want to play Koraidon, rock those 3 together. I mean, towards the later, as you can see, Chi-Yu, Walking Wake together just felt so good. Sorry, I was getting something to drink. Now here's what's cool. Ready? That Raging Bolt thinks he's super awesome and safe. But Walking Wake in the sun. Get that Protosynthesis, get my special attack up. I'm already kind of fast. I know you Icy Wind. No, I'm sorry, it was a different game. I was thinking this was the game where I Draco Meteor and one shot a Raging Bolt. So I apologize. I just set you up for nothing. This was a weird end game here. It was kind of cat and mouse of whose Koraidon's actually going to be faster. And I was trying to figure out what my best strat was, but I figured I'd just go full offense and run it and see what happens. Luckily, I won the speed tie. Or at least I think it was a speed tie. Here's a good one. This was me and someone else fighting weather against each other. Now, I don't know about the ice weather in this meta, but it was neat to try to have to play around the weather war with them. I was going to taunt the Ninetales turn 1 to prevent the Aurora Veil, but they protected, which just let my Chi Yu, not picking out the Chi Yu, allow me to just chunk the Zam, which means they just almost wasted their legend. Now on this turn, I should have taunted again, and I didn't. I doubled into Zam. But I think it was worth it in the long run. Like, I mean, hindsight, obviously 2020, but I think it was worth it in the long run to go ahead and eliminate their restricted. And I was icy winning here in case the Titan was Slush Rush. I just wanted to get its speed as low as possible just to make it to where my stuff in the back could still outspeed it. Just chunking this Titan for little bits of damage to see what it's going to do. This is where I switched out, hoping that they couldn't kill Walking Wake or Koraidon on this turn. I was really hoping that Hydro Steam with the Sun Boost would kill. But I wanted to be able to reset the Sun if I wanted it. So I was hoping to kill the Ensign on that turn and switch in the Koraidon so I could then switch back out if I wanted to. Here I was worried that the Ninetales was going after the Walking Wake. If they had hit the Walking Wake, they would have pinned it to where I couldn't win the Weather War again. But now I can just double protect, switch, and set up my weather again if I want to. Keyword is if I want to. I felt like I didn't need it, since I was faster and I saw Flare Blitz killed. And let's do another one. Let's do this Koraidon one because it's different. Ooh, so yeah, this is a bit weird. The dude's running 1, 2, 3, 4 ground types. I think he's trying to go for a Disquake meta is when I saw this. I was like, alright, so that's Koraidon, possibly Choice Spec Disquake with a bunch of ground support. But I saw he had no way to change the weather, and usually if they can't change the weather, I like to lead weather. Something interesting, Quick Claw into grassy terrain was really cool. And then Mamoswine going to Terra Flying, also really cool. So now, not only can he do his Disquake strat, but he can do, he can Earthquake beside Mamoswine now. Fluttermane, no! But I'm okay with Fluttermane dying here, because I feel like with my speed boost and your priority is gone, I should be okay. I was really shocked with how much that high horsepower did to me. But again, I feel like I am fine. Flare Blitz, goodbye Mamoswine. Make it an even 2v2, put you at Sash. And here comes the Walking Wake. Protect, Draco Meteor, because I am awesome. I mean, just walking weight, being able to one shot Draco, like the Miraidons, just surprises so many people. And voila. So here's the spreads one more time. I would not keep this team exact one for what it is. I think this Venusaur be replaced with an Amoonguss or something that can help me deal with Trick Room. Because the few games that I lost a couple of days ago was all to hard Trick Room. But Koraidon, Raging, Flutter, those three should be together always. And then your last three slots can just kind of be what you feel like you need. But I highly recommend trying out Walking Weight Chi-Yu together.
All right, so here is a team that I have developed here, and it is with a Life Orb set on a Koraidon. Now, as you can see, with the speed tier that I was talking about before, it has enough speed investment to be just faster than that of both the Tornadus as well as the Ogerpons. With that, my opponent's going to think that I'm just going to be at a higher speed tier than I actually am, so that's going to be pretty good, but at the same time, it just simply allows me to just divert some of my stats into other defenses. So I have 100 points into bulk investment. I also have 196 points into attack. So that brings me up to 198 because I was just above the bump there, because there should be, it was right about here. 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 8. Yeah, so that basically, that was the bump right there. So right at the 196 point investment, you got to the next tier bump. So I was able to capitalize on that there. Also, with just 12 points in my special defense, plus 4 points in the regular defense, and having 100 points into the HP. So that's how I was able to run with the Koraidon. Now remember, as I hinted to it before, you gotta make sure you're checking out that video of the Pokemon that can actually counter the Koraidon, because with a Pelipper, that is going to be the main counter to it. That is why I'm saying, hey, I need to make sure that I have at least Raging Bolt here. Now, because of this particular set of the Koraidon, because as you can see, this one's running Wild Charge, so it's not even going to be the Flame Charge. That's something just a little bit different, because it's going to be able to take out a Pelipper if I have to go up against it. Now, if I really wanted to just stick with the Flame Charge, I could, but this is just something that how I was actually running some practice there. But Raging Bolt is going to be also my Calm Mind variant, so it's going to have the leftovers, so I have enough HP so I can capitalize on the proper division of the 16 points. Therefore, every turn I'm going to get 14 points of recovery, because that is what 224 divided by 16 is. So our Raging Bolt is going to be very defensive, so this is actually going to be like our secret legendary here, while Koraidon is going to help set the sunlight to actually boost the power of my special attack even further. Now, if I wasn't running a leftover set, I may want to go ahead and do maybe Assault Vest and go with the Electro Web. That way I will have the proper speed control with that. So that is one alternate version there, but I have a couple options of speed control on this team. So this is going to be with the Grimmsnarl, who is going to set up screens for additional defense, and that's going to help both the Raging Bolt as well as the Koraidon. We also have that to help boost the defenses of the Rillaboom, who also gives us more recovery with its Grassy Surge. We also have our Flutter Mane that gives us different forms of speed control with the Icy Wind as well as Thunder Wave. And also, if our opponent goes for a Trick Room, then we have a very slow Clefairy that is able to run a Life Dew, Encore, Follow Me, and the After You. After You is going to be very important if we're going against some Pokemon that are going to be very slow, like those Amoonguss, and we can capitalize on that with a After You to take it out before it can put us to sleep. But I've actually even run into cases where I can basically allow myself to fall asleep for a couple of turns because I have enough defenses on this team so I can survive and keep on recovering. So it's something that is really, really good with this team. And now we're just going to go ahead and hop into some games, and I'll show you how this team works. Let's go. All right, so here is our first opponent here. We have a Rain team, so that's going to be a big counter to Koraidon. So we are going to need to be able to capitalize against it to make sure we can maintain the control of the weather. Challenge with that is that I bet their Tornadus will have rain. Yep, they do have Rain Dance, so that is going to be a huge problem. And this is also the Choice Scarf. So this is a Choice Scarf Kyogre. Makes sense. Terra Grass. Okay. We can work with a good bit of this. So how we will lead off with this team here will in fact be with Raging Bolt, Rillaboom, right? And then we'll also bring in Grim. Do we do Grim? I'm gonna say Clefairy. I think Clefairy is gonna be really, really good here, just for some redirection. And we're gonna have to figure out a way how to ensure that we can keep them out of the ring. And that's gonna be Koraidon. Whoa, that's an interesting pick here. That's a very interesting pick. Okay. So with this being the case here, I'm quite apt to just simply protect, terrestrialize, and U-turn on the Chien-Pao. I'm surprised that they did not go. Perfect. Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay. I'm shocked that they didn't just simply go with a Serena. So they may not have the Serena. Maybe. So we are going to do a follow me. They have Landorus. Okay. All right. So now, if you don't want to run a form of the After You on the Clefairy, one thing that you could potentially do is go with Icy Wind, because Clefairy is a very good speed control mon by using the Icy Wind, and you can get some spread damage there, because this Clefairy does not have any attacks, right? So I'll still try to go for a Calm Mind, but I'm also going to go Life Dew. Oof, that's a lot of damage. But we get another Calm Mind, get that Life Dew, so we recover. Okay. Next turn, we go for Protect, and we summon in the Rillaboom. Get some more health back. So as we know now with their team, they are highly likely going to have that Kyogre in the back. So this is everything that we need, right? Perfect. Now, we will go with the Thunderbolt onto the Torn, and we will fake out the Orlando. Okay, that's good. Oh, they went Tailwind. All right. Beautiful. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. And since they already used the terrestrialization, we are now squared. They are Choice Scarfed. They won't be able to do much of anything. So we will protect, and we are going to... I mean, I don't even need to really Grassy Glide here. We're just gonna bring in Koraidon. Get the sunlight, weaken them up. How much damage? There's the damage. That's the damage. That's the damage when we have the sunlight from a Choice Scarf, Water Spout, full health Kyogre. So now it's stuck doing that. It's not a concern. We can focus on the fact that Chien-Pao more than likely is coming into that spot. So what we're going to do is go Dragon Pulse into the Landorus. We're going to go Collision Course into the Kyogre spot for expectation of the Chien-Pao coming onto the field. Beautiful. There it is. Sanseer. We should be able to take these mons out. Get the Dragon Pulse. Beautiful. And our opponent already knows that there's nothing else that they're going to be able to do at this point. So we will mark for the next round. So now let's see. More than likely, I think that they're going to bring the Serena this time. I really think they're going to bring the Serena, right? But there's nothing really stopping us except for their Fast Taunt, right? Because if we lead with Clefairy, we can redirect. But if they lead off with the Kyogre, that's where we may have some trouble. but we'll give it a shot. We'll go with the Raging Bolt plus the Clefairy. We'll have the Koraidon. And on this one, I'm more apt to actually do... No. We'll stick with the Rillaboom. We'll stick with Rillaboom. They prematurely did their terrestrialization. I think they'll fix that for the next turn, right? So, with this being said, okay, so we're going to immediately go for the Calm Mind. And we'll go Follow Me. And let's see. So this is just Mystic Water. They went Terra Grass and they terrestrialized. Well, Terra Grass, yeah, terrestrialized, and they use Protect. That's odd. It's odd to me that they did that, right? But let's see. I don't know why they would use their terrestrialization. That doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't make any sense, dude. Okay, so we'll go with the Thunderbolt. And we'll swap into Rillaboom for some recovery. Okay. Oh, they went for the Surging Strikes. Okay. And I'm totally down for that. Now your Tornadus is gone. So that's their secondary rain setter. So they've just weakened themselves doing that. We just sent in the Rilla, so all we have to do is go with a Fake Out plus Dragon Pulse here. They will have to go for the Protect. They did not go for Protect. So they're going close combat, weakening themselves even further. Okay, so Lando's now down. Makes me kind of wonder like how they're really developing their team here. Or if it's maybe their very early stages here. All right, there's the Kyogre. Now, as they should anticipate, I'm about to Thunderbolt their face. Well, or should... Oh, no, I can't Protect, right? That's right. So, I'll go with the Thunderbolt, and we'll summon the Sun. There it is. There's the Water Spout. Okay. Now that's game, buddy. That is going to be game. Yep, and they just forfeited. So this power of the Raging Bolt, Koraidon is just basically setting the sunlight to boost the power of the Raging Bolt as well, and weakening the damage from certain opponents like their Urshifu Water as well as their Kyogre. So that's how that works, and it's just about knowing when to pivot your mons and who do you terrestrialize, basically. So let's go ahead and hit into the next match here. Let's see if we can find another opponent. All right, so this is going to be a Torkoal, so it has a sunlight. What kind of... This is Harvest Executor. So it's a Dragon Grass type, so we can just hit it with an Icy Wind. We're golden. Are you Trick Rooming? Well, there's a Trick Room on the Sinistra. Okay, well, we don't have Wide Guard, but, I mean, I don't feel like I'm too stressed out about that. Protect, Giga Drain, Draco Meteor. Alright, so our terrestrialization main mon more than likely is going to be our Raging Bolt. But terrestrializing into a fairy type, going against the Zacian, that is also a huge challenge. So then that means the Koraidon kind of needs it. So we're going to have to watch this very, very, very carefully. Very carefully. So what we'll do, do you have Rain Dance on your team? Okay, no Rain Dance, no Weather Control. Okay, so that's good. So this is good. We're going to go with Grim, Koraidon, straight up, right? And then from there, we are also going to go with our Raging Bolt and our Clefairy. If they go with the Trick Room, then, ooh, snap. Didn't expect that. Okay. Well, what could they be doing? You can't be going for any type of main dragon moves, right? Surely not. Let's see. We'll go light screen. And let's see if you're going to possibly use your terrestrialization. Well, even if you use your terrestrialization, then we basically got you. So we'll just flare blitz you. Okay, but we're still getting our light screen up, so that's fine. Oh, you're trying to go. Oh, and your eject pack. Okay. Okay. Should have looked at that. So the fact that it's the jetpack, I know what to do on the next one, on the next round. We want to icy wind it and kick it off the field before it's able to do that. So we're going to have to bring Fluttermane onto the next match. But with this, what we want to do is really just paralyze it, right? And just flare blitz again. I should have gone more than likely for a reflect, really. Yeah, that's a lot of damage. Even though it's resisted, it's a ton of damage, right? So let's see. You got Thunderbolt, Thunderclap, Draco Meteor, and Snarl. So there's another Draco here. They're running some massive, powerful attacks here on this team, right? So we are going to now go into the Clefairy. And we're going to go with a collision course into the Raging Bolt. And let's get this thing out off the field. Oh, they got some health back. And they're going Terra Electric. But our collision course brings them down to 10 health points. They go for the Thunderbolt. They get a crit. That's unfortunate. We are going to now go for a Life Dew. And we should be able to just protect. Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay. Now we will go for another Life Dew. And we will go with a Flare Blitz onto the Raging Bolt. Okay, so they go for the Follow Me. Well, Rage Powder, rather. This is probably going to take us out. Yep, takes us out. But we did not use our Terrestrialization yet, so that's totally fine. Now we will go with our own Raging Bolt. The challenge now is that they still have their Zacian. Well, no. They didn't even bring Zacian on this round. Oh, this is perfect. This is perfect, right? So with this, we can now go with, well, we can just actually, we'll go for a Follow Me. Actually, no, we'll swap into Grimmsnarl just to take some damage. And we will Dragon Pulse into the Raging Bolt. Yeah, I knew I'd be faster. I have enough speed investment. Okay, now, here's the big boy. So let's paralyze this fool. And we are going to protect this turn. We'll protect. I just want to get the paralysis set up. And then after that, I will start with more than likely hitting into my terrestrialization. Because they're going for these Terras, or rather these powerful helping hands. So they're trying to just go with massive, massive damage. Now, do you have your own form? Okay. So let's weaken their Torkoal now. So we're going to swap into Clefairy. We're going to also terrestrialize. And we're going to go with a Dragon Pulse into the Torkoal. Beautiful. Oof. Oh, that's interesting. But now they have the overheat. So now what we'll do is we'll go Follow Me, and we're going to go Calm Mind. Oh, are they? They're not choiced. So I'm surprised that they went with that play. We're going to go Life Dew, and we're going to go Dragon Pulse now. Beautiful. Okay, we get the Life Dew. Our Clefairy is actually faster, so that's good. All right, so now we can take out this Executor. With us being at a +1 on our special attack as well as our special defense, this is going to be really, really good. We take it out. Excellent. Now we're going to hit for the round 2. Where'd they go? They say they left. Come on. Hop back in. Maybe things disconnected earlier and I didn't realize it. No, it doesn't seem that way. Interesting. Okay. I hope that they're actually there, because they may not actually be there if this ends up being the case. But like I said, I wanted to go ahead and lead off with the Flutter Mane, because I want to go for that Icy Wind, right? Now, with that, we're still going to go with the Grim, because we need to ensure that we have some paralysis capabilities here. And we're going to have our Koraidon as well as our Raging Bolt. Oh, no, so they are here. They are here. Okay, so this is perfect. Now we're going to get rid of their Torkoal right away. We will go with a Light Screen plus that. Torkoal will not be able to stay on the field. So let's see how this goes. Yep, perfect. So now their speed will drop. Eject Pack activates. They're off the field. Perfect. So that's all I really wanted to do, is just make sure that they don't have two options of setting up their powerful overheats. Now that that is basically said and done at this particular point, we are going to go for a Moonblast onto the Raging Bolt, and we will go with a Thunder Wave onto the Tornadus. Yep, you shouldn't be faster than me, though. Perfect. Ooh! No damage. That did very little. I'm actually quite shocked that it only did that much damage. I'm quite shocked. Okay, so with that being shared, let's see how we want to play around this, shall we? Okay, we're gonna go with a... Don't want to go with another Icy Wind. Yeah, you know what? They won't be able to go with a Dragon attack. So let's go into Raging Bolt. Beautiful. Oh yeah, and that's right, because they are in fact the whatchamacallit's variant. This is an Assault Vest. So makes sense. It makes total sense, actually. So we are going to... Now the question is, who's their last mon? Is it the Zacian? Because if it's Zacian, we do need to preserve our Grimstar just for a Thunder Wave. So that's going to be extremely important there, right? So we need to go with... I'll go with the Moonblast. And I'm going to protect. I'll protect this turn. It is Zacian. There we are. There we go. It's Zacian. Now, I don't 100% know what's happening here. Is this Zacian faster? Is it full speed? Behemoth Blast, Terra Blast, Fire, play rough. Oof. We're gonna have to try to go with the Thunder Wave. This can be limiting us, but we're gonna try to swap into the Grim. Okay. They took the bait. Now we get the paralysis. Let's go. So now we're set. That's what we needed. We just needed to capitalize on the speed control. Now we have that, right? Now we reset the sunlight. So all we have to do at this particular point now is just go ham. Yeah, well, now we can use our terrestrialization on our Koraidon and just simply just do some extra chip onto this Torkoal. Matter of fact, yeah, we'll do some extra chip. No. I'm not even worried about it. We're gonna go with Icy Wind actually, and we're gonna go terrestrialize Flare Blitz into the Zacian. Beautiful. Oh, that was a crit. Might have mattered, but we're still making sure that we have complete control of the field. So this is what we needed. We set everything up perfectly. This was everything that we could have done to make sure it worked for our benefit. So we'll go now with the collision course. They're probably going for a tailwind there. We take out the Raging Bolt. Our speed is going to be just enough so we can take everything out. We are squared away. We'll still go for a Calm Mind just in case. And we're going to go with another collision course into their Torkoal. Oh, okay. We'll go for it. Tailwind? Tailwind? Is this like a fast Torkoal? Surely not. Well, no, you still won't even be able to outspeed my Koraidon. What are you trying to do? I'm not sure what you're trying to do here. But it's not going to work. I'm going to take out your Torkoal here, buddy. It's going to be your last line of defense, and then your Tornadus is just picking, weeding it out. So there it is. Torkoal's out, and then we are about to take another victory. So, of course, like I said, if you are running a different set on a Raging Bolt, like let's say if you want to go with the Assault Vest variant, like my opponent was, for example, they are using the Thunderbolt, Thunderclap, Draco Meteor, Snarl. I mean, you can go with the Thunderbolt, Dragon Pulse, you know, Volt Switch if you're worried about the Perish Trap, or if you want to just simply go with you know, any alternate forms or something of that sort. So, you know, there's different ways how you're going to run the Raging Bolt. I do really like the Leftover set. So it's very bulky of a Pokemon and it's able to take out our opponents just in these simple ways here. It's just pivoting and making sure you're getting your weather and things of the sort. Now, struggles of this team is going to be having the weather control as well as your speed control. That is where the key is with Koraidon. So as you're doing your team building, make sure that your Koraidon has enough speed investment, or you have enough Pokemon that can run those Thunder Waves so you can get those opponents slow enough so your Koraidon can capitalize on it and take out those enemies ASAP. I would more than likely, if you're going to have enough like paralysis or redirection and things like that, I would say go ahead and keep that sunlight. If you can ensure that, go for those close combats as opposed to the collision course, and you can just really take out some opponents. So that is where everything lies, and you're just going to need to be able to capitalize on your weather, and you should be good to go. So I hope you all did in fact enjoy this video here today when we have explained different sets of using with the Koraidon, and I hope you all do love this Pokemon because I really like this Pokemon. I really do, and I hope you find some niches with it. I mean, Wolf was able to do it with his Perish Trap team, man, but of course that's Wolf, but you know, everybody can do different things with their favorite restricted legendaries. You just gotta know how to build your team around it. So once again, head on over to my other channel at R.G.T, where I've already explained which basic Pokemon can be utilized to defeat some of these big restricted legendaries and how you can fit that on your team as you're building it. And also, if you're thinking about that, then you can say, okay, what Pokemon do I need on my team to help defend my restricted as well? So hope that you do enjoy that video as well. And with that being said, this is going to be R.G.T signing off. You all know what to do. You stay strong and you power on. Swim on, sharks.